Yes, well, we're back here again, Wayne,
Yes,
aren't we?
we
were
are,
here
David.
last year.
We were here last year, David, and it probably looks a bit worse than it did last year, didn't it? But,
yeah, it's a little bit of a problem, but you've got to survive things,
yes.
Wayne. Yeah.
So, David, you've been interested in marbling, genetics of marbling, for a while. Why do you place that much emphasis on marbling?
MSA index is what is going to call the shots in the long run. We're trying to put more marbling into cattle and still keep them killed at the same age. Marbling is obviously only one of a couple of things. The other important things are ossification, if you look at the actual index and the construction of it. The younger the cattle are when they get slaughtered, the more likely they are to have a low os, and that adds into the thing as well.
The genetics is a slow process.
Yes.
And, unless you start with marbling genetics, it's going to be very difficult to produce a high MSA quality carcass, isn't it?
And the question really is how you get that into your cattle. I think you can only really do it by going through the genetics program. We started trying to put more marbling into the cattle from 2015, and we're seeing the benefits now 4 years later.
So up until a few years ago, there was no premium for marbling, animals that marble at the individual level. What do you think's changed?
Well, I think two things have changed. One is that we are measuring these things in individual animals more accurately. One of the things that we all have is every cattle that goes off my property has got my NLIS tag in it. It means that every producer, every processor has a lot of information about producers, and they know how your cattle perform. I am still surprised at the number of people I know who don't actually look at their kill sheets and who don't use them to sort of make decisions. It's always dangerous. I mean, if you've just a kill sheet of your own animals, you can say which in that group of animals have performed better than others. But if you are sending in animals on a fairly regular basis and you're getting kill sheets and they all come back with marbling 0, then you've got a problem.
And do you see there's any compromises between marbling and other important traits?
I've always thought that one of the biggest sins in the cattle industry or in any industry is to single trait select. But if you have two bulls that are basically the same sort of value in terms of indexes or growth or birth or whatever, and one's high marbling and the other one's low marbling, I say it's a no-brainer.
Do you concede that there is some compromise between, say, marbling and muscle, or marbling and growth?
Yep, absolutely. You can look at the relationship between marbling and yield, and if you do that on a cross-section of animals on the Angus database, it's a strong negative relationship. We've got a string of animals now which are in the top 5% of the breed for marbling, the top 10% for yield, and the top 5 or 6% for growth. Those are sort of animals that realistically are going to make a difference in the long run.
I don't see that there is a compromise between marbling and fertility. Do you agree? I think high marbling animals are usually quite fertile.
Yes, it's an interesting one, Wayne, because there is the work that's been very popular in Australia saying that fertility and fat are positively related, and I guess that may be true. But I don't believe that in a breed with as large a base of animals as we've got, you can't select some animals that will marble, won't have a lot of excess body fat, and are fertile. So I think that's the story, Wayne. I mean, we obviously believe that traits in animals are heritable. We believe in EBVs, we believe in balancing EBVs, and it's very nice to talk to someone who has roughly the same ideas but differs in the details.
That's good.
Thank you very much, Wayne.
Thanks, David.
Same place, same time,
Same, yeah.
next year?
Ciao.